for staying with us. It's not quite the red wave Republicans had envisioned, but after more than a week of vote counting, it's official. Republicans are set to win control of the House of Representatives in the upcoming term. This means the party will flip the House from blue to red and will allow them to launch investigations into the Biden administration and, if need be, block some of his agenda. Jeff Zeleny has more.
Tonight, Republicans winning control of the House after a midterm election that will change the balance of power in Washington. But far less change than they envisioned, with turmoil inside the GOP dampening the party's mood and complicating its future.
I'm not going anywhere.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell surviving a threat from Florida Senator Rick Scott, with 37 Republicans voting to keep McConnell at the helm and 10 voting for Scott, amid deep infighting over the GOP's failure to win a Senate majority. At the center of broader recriminations among Republicans is former President Donald Trump.
Much criticism is being placed on the fact that the Republican Party should have done better, and frankly, much of this blame is correct.
Who took no responsibility for midterm election losses as he pulled the trigger on another bid for the White House.
I have no doubt that by 2024, it will sadly be much worse, and they will see much more clearly what happened and what is happening to our country, and the voting will be much different.
His Mar-a-Lago announcement is being met by a collective groan from a broad swath of the Republican Party, including many who served in his administration. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who's considering a presidential run of his own, saying, "We need more seriousness, less noise, and leaders who are looking forward, not staring in the rearview mirror claiming victimhood." Those stinging comments a clear reference to this moment Tuesday night.
We must conduct a top-to-bottom overhaul to clean out the festering rot and corruption of Washington, D.C. And I'm a victim, I will tell you. I'm a victim.
While Trump enters the race as a clear frontrunner, beloved by a loyal base of supporters, he is unlikely to have the field to himself. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who swept to re-election by nearly 20 points, drew applause today, saying the 2024 campaign can wait.
We just finished this election, okay? People just need to chill out a little bit on some of this stuff. I mean, seriously, we just ran an election.
Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper, who served under Trump, told CNN the party should look forward.
A new generation of Republican leaders who maybe are more in line with what I consider myself a Reagan Republican, who can do so without the baggage and the personal attacks and the self-centeredness of Donald Trump.
And former Vice President Mike Pence, who's also weighing a presidential run, said the country should not turn back to Trump.
I think we'll have better choices in the future.
Tonight, McConnell said Republican candidates turned off moderates and independent voters in the last election. For the next one, he said Trump will have company in the Republican race.
The way I'm going to go into this presidential primary season is to stay out of it. I don't have a dog in that fight.
After his election, Senator McConnell talked about the prospect of divided power in Washington, talking about how the House would be controlled by Republicans, the Senate narrowly by Democrats. He said he really thought it would be an opportunity to work with the White House and work on behalf of the American people. Of course, we will see how much bipartisan unity there actually is. But as for McConnell, starting next year in the next Congress, he will be the longest-serving Senate party leader in U.S. history, 15 years. But the Republican Party has changed dramatically under his watch. Jeff Zeleny, CNN, Washington.
And joining me now in studio to break this down further is Hezi Kugler, the former Director General of Israel's Ministry of Energy and a partner of Yossi Levi Advocates. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Nice to be here, about you.
Break down for us just how big of a deal it is to actually flip the entire House of Representatives from not quite a wave, but from blue to red.
Well, it has tremendous significance. All the agenda now from the House of Representatives will be Republican-driven, with a Republican appetite, and they have lots of appetite here. So it's going to be a very exciting next 2 years full of investigations and charges and all sorts of hyperbole that we're used to over the last 10 years or so.
Sounds like the Israeli parliament at the moment.
Well, we could compete with them, I think, yes, but in the last few years, the United States has gotten a leg up on us, I think.
Absolutely. So what do the Republicans plan to do with their newfound victory in the House of Representatives?
Well, they're already sending their very strong signals that their main direction is investigative. They're going to be investigating everything that they can possibly investigate. President Biden's family, President Biden's agenda, President Biden's actions, President Biden's lack of actions, and perceived lack of actions from their point of view. I have to say that to a certain extent, this is their duty. The Congress and the House of Representatives are charged with the responsibility of oversight of the federal government. There are actions that, of course, need to be under the eye of the watchdog of the House. That doesn't mean, of course, that conspiracy-fueled theories such as why are they treating these poor guys who rioted and almost killed some of the representatives of the American people in Congress in January of 2021, why are they being treated so unfairly? That's another thing that they plan on investigating. Good luck to them.
It sounds like there's a lot of investigations going on around the clock here. But what about Speaker of the House? The incumbent, Nancy Pelosi, has made it very clear that she does not intend to pass the gravel, so to speak, quietly. So what happens next? Does she stay on as minority leader? What's the procedure here?
That's going to be quite interesting. The law is that the Speaker must be elected by an absolute majority of the members, which means that they have to attain 218 votes. There may be some people on the Republican side that will not vote for the newly reelected leader of the Republicans in the House, that is Kevin McCarthy, in which case no one will attain a majority. I have a hard time believing that Republicans will vote for Ms. Pelosi, even though she's, I think, an historic speaker, which means that they can be stuck.
So why not vote for someone of their own party?
Well, there's a lot of antipathy towards Mr. McCarthy. He may not be extreme enough for some of the people in his party. I personally believe that he'll get it. He'll get enough support from his own party. You know, right now they're sitting at 218, but I believe that they'll go up to over 220. He doesn't have a lot of leeway, but he'll probably have enough to squeak in.
And touching on support, how does this win for the Republicans in the House of Representatives impact Donald Trump's announcement about 2024 rerun? Does it impact it at all, or is it indifferent?
Well, as we all know, Trump is always about Trump. I mean, he made his position crystal clear. Everyone who was elected was because of him, and everyone who was not elected was not because of him. So it has absolutely no bearing from his point of view. From the Republican point of view, it has a lot of bearing. That's for sure. You're already hearing, amazingly, calls within the Republican Party, even within his own former circle. His circles change constantly. Within his former circle, that he probably should not run because this is the third election running in which he's basically perceived to be the loser. So they don't want to see it happen again. That has absolutely no impact on Donald Trump, as we all know.
And speaking of impact, let's unpack just very briefly how this actually impacts the Jewish state. Just for some of our audience watching, a reminder that the Republicans now control the House of Representatives, but the Senate is in the hands of the Democrats. Is this likely to impact the state of Israel?
Israel is in a very good position. Israel has, first of all, a president who loves Israel for decades. The Senate is very strongly in support of Israel. The House is strongly in support of Israel on both sides of the aisle. I see nothing but good things, actually, from the government for Israel. It doesn't mean that there aren't disagreements. There will certainly be disagreements between the Biden administration and the incoming government in Israel.
Right, because Biden and Netanyahu don't exactly have the friendliest of relations.
Actually, they do actually have a very good relationship. The problem in terms of the warmth of the personal relationship was more with President Biden's former boss, President Obama. Biden himself actually does have, I think, a very good relationship with Netanyahu over the years. Biden's a very good politician, and he has the human touch. Probably it may not be as comfortable for the prime minister as it might have been with Mr. Trump, although Mr. Biden is a person of his word, and not something I think everyone would say about Donald Trump on a 100% basis. I think that Israel's in a good position with the the newly elected Congress.
Hezi, Kugler, the former Director General of Israel's Ministry of Energy and a partner at Yossi Levi Advocates, thank you very much for breaking all of this down. What sounds like America actually sounds like Israel. It's all very connected. Thank you very much. Out for a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.